Thank you for tuning into the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Morocco. Peter is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Advanced or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Jessica is a galactic liaison and interdimensional seer. Together, they will discuss the most current updates from the ACIO, Council of Five, and other extraterrestrial sources. Make sure to post your questions and comments below. Disclosures, insider intel that keeps you updated with planetary changes.
Even if all life on our planet is destroyed, there must be other life somewhere which we know nothing of. It is impossible that ours is the only world. There must be world after world unseen by us, in some region or dimension that we simply do not perceive. Even though I cannot prove that, even though it isn't logical, I believe it. Philip K. Dick.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Disclosures. And we are going to be covering some topics that may be considered controversial, but I think it's just if we ignore topics, then we won't be able to deal with them. And I think that it's important to bring things forward. And so information is information. We have a video that we received from one of the Kruger members, Olaf. And he tells us a bit about what he saw in the year 2016 that is actually coming true now. So we're going to address it and then also bring up some other multiple related topics. Some are related to current events and others are related to TV shows that we've seen. And so you can kind of see the progression and also history. We're going to be bringing in all sorts of different things related to the topic of the NAZI. I'll say it like that because it's still very heated in the search engines, and we're just going to keep it clear because it's really not about promoting anything. It's more about just getting information out. Okay, so have an open mind and we're ready to get started. I just want to welcome in Peter the Insider.
So thank you, Jessica, for giving me another opportunity to be here on your channel. I want to say hello to you and to all of our regular and maybe not so regular listeners.
Okay, great. So let's get started. And I'm going to go and open up this recording that we have.
Hello, Jessica. Thanks for letting me share this recall. I think now it's the time. It's very urgent. I had a recall, or you can say a very vivid dream, the 29th of September 2016. So it's a few years ago. I would say this was a very strong recall. I woke up with a very painful burning sensation on my neck. I looked in the mirror. I could see an upside down light pink triangular shape. It was down my neck, right side. It stayed there for nearly a week or maybe more. I took a picture of it, so you are able to see it in the picture. In my dream, or in my dream state, I saw an invasion. In the time frame, That's the crazy part. And the time frame, because I have the notes, was 2022, 2023. So I saw in my dream an invasion, and I saw several TR-3s. They had landed on the ground. I was one of the pilots. They were all black colored. I sent you a few pictures. I'm not sure which model could be later models than B, maybe C, D, whatever. There's a bunch of models. I couldn't understand exactly where this was happening or where we landed. Today, I know this is related to the war in Ukraine. Because of the time frame. I also talked with you and Peter about this a few days ago. So I looked for my 2016 recall notes. I consider this is a piece in the puzzle. Has been put in place in the year 2022. Another thing, I saw super soldiers coming in from another existence of reality, from a parallel world. As far as I could understand, they were from Nazi Germany. I thought they might be the Fourth Reich. However, in a parallel existence, they ruled the world after the victory in World War II. I have memories from being in that parallel world as well. Believe it or not, I didn't know anything about the TV series The Man in the High Castle. Came out in 2015 until a few months ago. We were accidentally talking about the series, and I was able to launch it. Now I have watched a few episodes, and that was very emotional for me, and it triggered a lot of memories to surface. So what I know because of my recall, I saw German super soldiers coming in for assistance. They joined forces with other Kruger officers and super soldiers. I talked with them, and we were standing outside one of our TR-3 crafts. Their armor looked something between a Darth Vader type from the Star Wars and a modern super soldier soldier armor. Very much like in this picture I sent you. So it's another thing. I was amazed by that because I saw the details. I saw the colors of a military badge used by the Nazi Germans. So it was exactly the way I designed it. So it's an upside down triangular shape, blue shape, and there is in the middle there is an orange circle. So it's the combination between blue and orange. I sent you a picture of it so you can have a closer look. And thanks for bringing me in to your show, and have a good day, everyone.
So this is the message that he sent in. He said that he woke up and he had this burn that was on his neck. It was like a triangle, a pink triangle on his neck. And it was upside down. And
yes, it's typical. Yes, it's typical way of implanting BFS chip. BFS 450 chip, like Beacon, Stafford, Beacon, Stafford, Beacon, Stafford franchise, BFS, 450. It's typical way, the typical mark of it. Maybe I should write it in chat. It will be.
I've got it. The Beacon franchise Stafford.
No, Beacon Stafford franchise. It's BSF.
SF.
But
okay.
I'm just saying how it is, okay? 450, but it's only, it is not S at SS, but it's like it happened in 1950s, 1960s, so it is series of it. 450 series, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is actually weird because they were highly experimental in like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they shouldn't be used in practice. So, but technically, right, I am not so surprised because I am not so, or I am surprised. Let's say yes, yes, Olaf is working within Kruger, but though, I mean, despite it, it's unusual to do it. It's, I don't know. I will not. If I will be personal in charge, I will not do it. I will strongly insist not to do it, not to use those implants. BSF 450s are, I mean, now it's not a big deal because there was, you know, there were tremendous amounts of improvements made. You know, technology is hella fast, you know, advancing. But at that time, they were experimenting with stuff, what was developed, I mean, 10, 12 years ago. So we are talking about like 2010, 2012, 2014. So pretty much it makes complete sense that his recall, what happened in 2016, was about 2020 to 2023, because the whole chip, the whole implant was developed in, we are calling it half step, because one time step or time jump, let's call it time jump, it's 20 years for and back, and half time jump or time step is time step, it's 10 years. So it makes, for me, it makes perfect sense, right? But despite it, it's, I mean, it is foolish. It's like, what the heck in the world? It's nonsense to do something like that, because they, let's say, they start development of this in like 2006, 7, maybe 8. But it was only improvement of 440s, generation 440s, and it consumed tremendous amount of effort and money and whatever, so they stopped developing it in 2012, and the stuff is like, after 4 years of nothing, pretty much nothing, right? Because in 2015, what I know it for sure, they started to develop 460s, next generation, and I'm like, what in the world is that? Yeah. And now 460s are testing, but definitely not using in everyday. I mean, making it in implanting it for everyday use, you know. And now they are using 450s, and it's like, what? In 2016, it doesn't make any sense. Or maybe there were some engineers, I mean, or let's say small group of engineers, they stole blueprints for the whole, because it is not BSF only. There were multiple companies, or let's say multiple conglomerates, they cooperate on the project. And maybe because they literally, I don't want to say throw it away, but they are like, nah, screw it, we don't want to deal with it. And maybe there were maybe teams of engineers, and they were like, hey, nah, it's not that bad, let's give it another chance. And I cannot guarantee if something like that didn't happen, to be perfectly honest.
So you're saying the chip was pretty much outdated, but maybe there was...
No, please, not outdated. Despite chip was highly experimental state, they canceled the project because of too high costs. But this is it. 4 years and nothing happened. So nobody can guarantee that somebody wasn't developing the project even more and more and more to later states. Do you know what I mean? Later processes. That's it.
So were there some downsides, some anomalies, some bad reactions that people had to the chip?
Yeah, definitely. People have hallucinations. People can't see colors, so daltonism. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or let's say semi-daltonism, so they were confusing certain colors, not except 2 or 3 in between. But, and for example, if you are driving a car, or I don't know, like you can't pilot an airplane or helicopter or whatever, but it not every time, but always. Sorry.
Not for every person. Maybe some people have more of a reaction than others.
Yes, not every time, only from time to time, or maybe like not so perfect seeing, so everything wasn't so sharp. Or maybe what is it, like tinnitus? Do you know what I mean? Something like that.
They're hearing the buzzing sound in their ears.
Yeah. Or maybe people start to get like in some sort of daydreaming, dream world, whatever, something like it. Everything will be, or maybe people believe that they are drowning, that they are underwater. Of course they were not, right? Everything, it's so weird,
Do you think a lot of these implants were brought into a lot of the super soldiers here today?
This is the problem. Many of them, and this is it, should be decommissioned. But this is it, okay? Quotes in quotes, should be. And nobody knows where the hell they are. This is the problem. Because it was like, it was before pandemic, so it was like autumn, fall for our friends in US and Canada. Fall, it's better word than autumn. It was in October, I think, 2000. 19, and they were absolutely shocked because they, you open the depots and whatever, and according all the evidences, I mean all the database, everything, I mean written or printed, even in the computers, it's fine, or it was fine. But then they opened it and chips were simply gone. And that's it. That's crazy.
Approximately how many, can you do like a generalization of how many soldiers possibly have this implant?
This is the problem, not soldiers. And this is much bigger problem. Common civilians. According my knowledge, not super soldiers, but soldiers, I don't want to say quote unquote normal soldiers, but let's say elite soldiers, but within a normal army. But normal standard soldiers, but the problem is common random people. And what we are talking about, at least what I know, we are talking about 100 grand, 100,000 of those chips. This is crazy.
Do you think that the shadow group was affected by this implant?
Shadow group, it's vice versa, Jessica. Shadow group was behind creating those implants.
Okay.
And from my point of view, it was very, very good for them and helpful for them. And let's say only just my personal opinion that they sabotaged the whole development process of development
for the super soldier.
Yes.
Or even our reality. It affected our entire reality.
Yes, because, and this is it. We know that it is approximately, okay, 20 grand. 20,000 chips were implanted. 90% of them, 90%, only failures, only problems. Everything was bad, totally bad. And you know what is main part of the problem? You can't get them out. Any operation, anything, because there is very close and how can I say tight tie to the tissue. Pretty much, and this is not only, I don't know, on neck or whatever. If you want to make it out via operation, right? You will pretty much make the whole part of the body dysfunctional. No matter if we are talking about leg, arm, whatever, or part of the neck. So for example, it will be pretty much impossible to breathe. So only this breathing machine with a bottle of oxygen. Do you know what I mean? And of course, you will be unable to eat. So only some sort of, you know what I mean? How can I say it? Those people, they can't eat. They've got this, how can I call it, catheters or whatever it is, and there are the minerals and all kind of that stuff instead of food. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And it is in liquid. Yeah, so something like that.
So when they try to pull that out. So you're not implying that this recall that Olaf had is inaccurate, though?
Give me a second. I am not applying it is inaccurate. I am applying absolute vice versa. I am saying that this was by accident. This is it. By accident, They definitely don't want to happen, but thank God for us of course, that this happened, and it makes absolute perfect sense. Let's say, at least for me.
Recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he had this recall, so it helps us to validate what's happening around us.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Peter, that's important information. It's probably going to make people anxious that they possibly have that triangular shape on their body, but maybe the mint tea or something like that will help neutralize it a bit, or something that you can
at least it will quotes in quotes kill the near tissue. Okay, it will be like, I don't know if you will go for operation. Do you know what I mean? They make some anesthesis. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. But though, despite of it, there is no guarantee what will happen after, or not after, but let's say during the operation, and what will be the consequences. No, I will not risk it. Definitely not. I will not take this risk. No.
But what about something like the mint tea, or something that can neutralize the effect of it, even if you can't take it out of your body?
Yes, it can much lower the effects. Yep.
The mint tea will, and we have that recipe always connected. It's the mint tea and honey and cinnamon and lemon juice. So we have that there for people to review. So he's a good
raw lemon, cinnamon. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to move forward, and thank you for that information, because I'm sure that other people are feeling like that it's probably impacting a lot of people and they're not aware of it. He went further on to talk about these TR3 crafts. In his dream state, he saw an invasion around the time 2022, 2023. Several TR3s had landed on the ground. I was one of the pilots, and they were all black, and this is what he had a recall of.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand exactly where this was happening and where we landed. Today, I know this is related to the war in Ukraine because of the time frame. I also talked with you and Peter about it. So a piece of the puzzle has been put in place in the year 2022. And then he said he saw super soldiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
From another existence of reality, from a parallel world. As far as I can understand, they were from the Nazi Germany, and I thought they might be the Fourth Reich. However, in a parallel existence, they ruled the world after their victory in World War II.
Sorry for interrupting you, but yes, it's fine. Only one thing, not Fourth, but Fifth Reich. Okay, so that's, maybe people will say, nah, hey, insider, open your eyes. It's just 4 and 5, 4th and 5th. It is not a big deal. Believe me, guys, it is a very big deal, because, you know, odd and even. Even numbers are bad, and odd numbers realities are good. I'm just saying. Or let's say, maybe not realities, or maybe not dimensions, but let's say array density. So fourth array density, fifth array density, and all kind of that stuff.
So he had a premonition. He could see into the future, but also he saw himself participating in this battle, or this you know, moving into the reality with this group of soldiers. And then he was also observing who was over it, which was the Fifth Reich. Well, he thought it was the Fourth Reich, but he also knew it was a parallel existence.
Yes.
That ruled the world after World War II. And we do have, you know, a lot of people believe, even in our reality, that the advancements of the Nazi army did take over and their ships were hovering around the White House. And so there's information about that you can find online under the category of conspiracy theories. However, we're discovering a lot of the conspiracy theories are actually accurate. So
Yes, we in my homeland, Slovakia, my region of the world, we are calling it we4, so Slovak, Czech Republic, Poland, and Hungary, we are that kind of joke. Like, do you know what is the difference in between conspiracy theory and the reality? Just 2 years.
yeah, actually, that's accurate, very accurate, Peter.
No, it's for fun. It's just for fun.
Yeah.
I am not saying that we should, let's say, blindfoldly believe every single crazy stuff what is written or what was written and what is written and what was said or what it is saying, what people are saying on internet or TV or whatever. But let's say it that way, that don't be close-minded, because, and don't be skeptic. Let's name it that way. Let's call it that way.
Absolutely. I mean, my rule of thumb is make note of it, write it down, and then you wait. And then when it starts to come into our reality and starts to, show itself, and then you can reference, oh, that already happened, that we were talking about that way back when, and then it occurred. And a lot of the stuff that you've told us, there has been like a 2-year lapse, approximately, some less. I think it was 6 months before the pandemic came out.
Yes.
That you told me about it, and there was absolutely no implications of it at the time. So yeah, I mean, and also with other people too, that they've been talking about these things, and we were just even talking about Al Bielik in this society.
Yes. Just by the way, he's Slovak. He's Slovak.
He's Slovak. And yeah, someone contacted me about him, and they were questioning, whether we believed much information. And I said that, did you say that you knew him personally, Peter?
Of course. And it's Albert Bielik. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew him personally. Yeah. That's
and
true.
Then his brother Duncan Cameron.
Yes, yeah. That's true.
No, I knew Duncan Cameron. I was able to talk to him a few times before he passed. Although I don't know if he passed or they moved him to somewhere else.
No. They moved him to, let's say, to much safer reality. Or let's say context of existence. Yeah, context of existence will be better named, better way to name it, to call it.
He was under a lot of attack and had a tremendous amount of pain. So I'm glad that that was done. All right, so I'm just let's continue on. So I believe then he brings up about a parallel world, and he brings up about he didn't know about the man in the high castle at that time. He comes from I'll say Scandinavia, and so maybe this show wasn't something that was really talked about, or he's a Olaf's a person that has works and has children and all that, and was not aware of the show. I'll just say it like that.
Yes, that's actually a good way to say it. Yep.
Yeah. So when I actually told him about it recently, and he said he had never watched it. That was and he wasn't thinking about this recall, but the recall came up because of a discussion we had a few days ago. And so I brought up the Man in the High Castle probably about 4 months ago, and then I believe he started watching it and was affected because he was one of the characters there. I believe he was maybe connected to the Swedish officer.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So in those Philip Dick, who wrote the story, well, we're going to get into that, but he was very insightful, and those characters are actually real, and we'll get into that further. Here is the German soldiers, what he thought that they looked like. Joined forces with other Kruger officers, so that these were connected to Kruger, and he talked to them. They were standing outside of the TR-3 crafts. Their armor looked something like Darth Vader type.
Yes, and actually I need to say, or let's say for the notice or for official record, the stuff is, it's like, yeah, it's crazy. They look like whatever from Battlestar Galactica, or I don't know, like Star Wars. But
Yeah.
this is important thing, very important thing to notice. It is not nano, it is not pico, it is femtotech. So you can't even penetrate the armor. You can't. You can't, right?
Yep.
It is pretty much the stuff. Like there were like 2 or 3. I think 3 of them. Like T-15 Armata Russian tanks, and everybody are goddamn afraid of them because you cannot penetrate the armor. You can't, because it's femtotech, and it is repairing itself automatically, constantly, just in between, I don't know, like 0.05 milliseconds or whatever. It's absolutely crazy. And actually they believe, I mean, the not only Americans but NATO officers believe that they are that kind of crazy good at mini technology. I mean, the Russians and Chinese scientists, what is, I don't want to say they are not, okay? But they are reverse engineering and back engineering those technologies from the reality when NAZI Axis won Second World War. They are leading, or let's say ruling the world, and from their point of view, it's better worth to support technically eastern part of the world than western. Don't ask me why. Let's say I've got certain opinions about that, but it's like, let's do something, and be capable of, let's show the rest of the world that even East is capable of doing something interesting. And this is it. But once we are talking about how we can call it, because look, okay, we need to clean no, this shouldn't be edited, and I mean it for real. Let's clean my mess in my thoughts. So I was thinking about not promoting something what is extremist, but let's talk about it as something from historical point of view, right? Because it's part of history. If we like it or if we don't like it, it's part of history, right? And the stuff is that even in actual situation, for example, in Ukrainian war, right? There are groups, but this is the problem on both sides. It doesn't matter if we are talking about Ukrainian side or Russian side, absolutely doesn't matter. They are extremists, or let's say, I don't want to say extremists, but they are quotes in quotes playing that they know something, and they don't know something because they just read some book or some books, sets of books, and this is it. If they will not just read that, but comprehend that means reading with understanding, and they will think twice. Yeah, it will not end up like that, but now the whole situation is how it is. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I am not taking sides, but I am saying what is happening. And the most, let's say, saddest part of the whole process is of the war process, because war is a process, like it or not. War is the process where diplomacy failed, just by the way. It's very common quote. And the whole process, the war process, was started. It is maintained, and it will be ended only by, try to guess who, by shadow group. And they are spreading those lies. Agents of shadow group on both sides, they are spreading the lies that I don't know, that Ukraine will be devoted and everything. All kinds of crazy stuff, that Russians are bad in between Ukrainians, and of course vice versa. And all kind of those stuff. Once again, I am not taking any sides, because pretty much as Western world led by US, like it or not, it is like that. Let's say Pentagon officers, HQ headquarters, blindfoldly believes Lynch, directly him.
Putin part of the shadow group. Yep.
Sorry.
Just for the new listeners, the Lynch is Peter Lynch is part of the shadow group that is running things outside of the government. So it's not really making it look like the governments are doing different things, but the shadow group is actually an elite group of soldiers that are taking over discreetly.
Yes. Sorry, just for one important correction. Not Peter, but John Lynch. John Lynch.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's everything is fine.
Is Peter Toth.
Yes.
He's over in Slovakia. Well, let's finish up here, Peter. We're going to finish up and then we can start bringing up those other links, information that you have.
Yes, but give me a second. This is it, and it is pretty much absolutely the same stuff with Putin, because Putin blindfoldly believe Roman Barkov, and bam, the war started. Sorry for that. You want to finish something, I think?
Sure, that's okay. I just wanted the badge that he saw. He said it was blue and orange. You said that the implant distorts color. Are these the accurate colors of what it is accurate? Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, give me a second. Sorry, this was my bad, because I didn't consider it. I don't want to say I didn't consider it as important, but let's say it's fine. Because if it will be not accurate, believe me that I will say, hey, stop, this is not accurate. So once again, sorry, that is my bad. Sorry.
And what would the orange symbolize? Because we did talk about the Orange Revolution that's happening, that is related to what's happening in the Ukraine right now. Why is this orange? Is it supposed to be a sun, or what does this emblem stand for?
Yes. Some they are the sun astral beings, and they started to, how can I say it, settle. They settled in Netherlands, but it's not true. Like they settled, I don't know, like few decades of, I don't know, 20, 30 or 40 years ago. No, it's not. It's not true. They are like what, 7 centuries or so, 8 centuries. So pretty much, I don't know, late Middle Ages, something like that. No, not 7, 6 centuries. My bad. 6 centuries. My bad. Yeah.
Well, was it William of Orange? I think.
Just by the way.
Yeah, it was William of Orange, and also I think the Netherlands was introduced as a separate entity, a separate government. Is related to after the Napoleon Wars, and it was one of the brothers of Napoleon, I believe, that was involved. I mean, that's what I recall in history. It might be inaccurate, but
no, you are right. That's correct. But I'm just saying it's like in between 13 or 1400s, once the color started to be, let's say, solidly connected with Netherlands. So
the color orange. Okay, and so
yes.
You're saying that these were astral beings that came in?
Very bad ones. And let's say, how can I say it precisely? Like unpredictable, like erratic behavior or whatever, and everything should be as they say, and was not. Yeah, bad news bears.
Well, this with Napoleon's brother, this happened after Napoleon had lost. So obviously, yes. If you're saying erratic, maybe they had an influence on what was happening, maybe even causing the war.
Yes.
Yeah, prior to that. So interesting. All right. We're gonna go out of this screen and so what's happening in the Ukraine, there is this Azov group, which I wanted to bring in.
Yes, that's definitely something we need to talk about.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, so now we're talking about there's different realities that are happening, different parallels, right? So we have our present reality, which has been messed with quite a bit, but there was a point where the NAZIs pretty much, they lost, but they sort of won. It's kind of a weird scenario. And then you have the Man in the High Castle scenario, and then you have these groups that are popping up around the world. I always say where there's everything leans too far to the left, there is a natural counterbalance, things go to the right. It's happened throughout history. If you have, 4 people in a room or 5 people in a room, and someone is very, very strong in one area, there's going to be one person in that group that's going to go in the opposite direction. It's a natural thing that happens all the time. So, but this is confusing to me, Peter, because this is not happening in Germany. This is happening in Russia and
Ukraine.
Ukraine, I meant, and the leadership of Russia or Ukraine.
Sorry for interrupting you. You are not that absolutely wrong, because both in Ukraine
are Jewish.
and Russia, definitely, yes, you are right.
Both of them are Jewish. right? Well, at least the leadership are. Putin is, and
partially,
right.
okay, partially.
And Zelensky.
He's fully yes, Jewish.
Right.
Yeah.
And but yet he has this operations unit that is Nazi or Nazi, I'll say.
Yes. But okay, can I please, may I interrupt you, please?
Yes.
So first things first, those because how can I say it and be precise about that? Or let's say during Second World War, there were, I don't know, like Wehrmacht, so it was, how can I say it, quotes in quotes, regular army, and SS, that means Schutzstaffel, so it was like high class elite soldiers, right? And most of them, like 95% of them were, how can we call it precisely, like ideologically Nazis. I mean, because we need to be very precise about this terminology. So, because if you go as to Wehrmacht, it was like you was a soldier, regular soldier, it was army, right? And then another, the political situation changed, right? A new political party came to power, the name of army changed, whatever, but most, and this is very weird, but most of common, even let's say even the high class officers, most of them were not, okay, were not I mean, not just, let's say, chronically, like, no, we know all of them, we know about that. So not like that most people in the world knew them or know them. So of course we know that they were ideologically Nazis, but even middle class or middle level officers and common soldiers, they were not ideologically Nazis, right? But once you was in SS, that means a former SA, SS Schutzstaffel and then Sturmabteilung, yeah, you should be ideologically Nazi, right? Because without that, you can't go there. And this is absolutely crazy for me, absolutely, that in Azov Battalion, they are making some sort of lustration process. Like, I don't know, because I know few people, they were there, and they, for example, right, it's like once you are going to be Catholical priest, or I don't know, like, rabbi in Jewish, a religion, or be imam for Muslim people, you need to know Bible, Torah or Quran, yeah? And this is it. They make, or they made, how can I say it? It was a parallel. They made some sort of, how can I say it, like,
Is it a bleed through?
Give me a second. They made some sort of, let's say, tests from Mein Kampf, right? So it's like, yeah, it is not only like, hey, what is written in this part of book or in this chapter, blah. No, it isn't like that. It was, what is this part of ideology about and everything, and I was shocked. No, I will not lie, I was shocked. I was like, what in the world? This is next level crap. And that was it. And or let's say this is the first part of, how can I say it? First part of the problem. What I've got with this Wikipedia site about Azov, because they are extremists, literally extremists. They are not just some quotes in quotes random boys. They don't know what is it about. I mean, they don't really know. Do you know what I mean? In the first place. In second place, the number. I absolutely disagree with the number of members. Definitely not. It's in between 15 to 1500 to maybe 2000, 222, 2300, but each, okay? And they are saying like it is Azov Battalion, period. End of story, like one. And it is not true. It is not true. It's like they've got, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like one battalion, and that's it. It's fine. No, it is not true. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm shocked.
So they have more than one battalion?
No, not more than one. We are talking about dozens of battalions. They created the army, geez.
Right.
This is,
yeah, here they say that it was 2,500 members, and you're saying it is how many?
200, let's say in between 1,500 and 2,500, let's say, but each, okay, each. And they've got dozens of them all over the place, all over the Ukraine. It's absolutely, I don't know, it's, how can I say it? It's the whole another level. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's crazy. Jeez. And they've got everything. It's not like National Guard of Ukraine and then you can see infantry. They've got everything. They can drive tanks. They can drive all kind of vehicles. You know, they are snipers. They are pilots. Everything, okay? It's everything. Everything is well organized, and this is it. From my point of view, it is not because of war, or let's say, like, yeah, they start to organize people, they start to hire people during the war, because many people will say, hey, yeah, insider, open your eyes, it's because the war. No, it's not true. It's not true. They start to organize and they start to raise like that in between 2014, so it's 8 years, yeah, but they start to do so for, I don't know, in between 2 or 3 years, so I don't know, 2016, 2017, and they are constantly, okay, constantly maintaining the number of members, the way how they are, you know, like operating and whatever. And I don't know, I'm in shock. But this is the stuff, like the very similar things are having and doing all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, Russians. So there is no, let's say, how can I call it correctly? There is no difference, right? There is no difference that Ukrainians are bad, Russians are good. Definitely not. It's the same crap. Absolutely same crap. You know, it's I don't know what's going on. It's so weird.
So, but this is just for clarity, this is not a German-based military
Yes,
operation.
definitely not. Yes.
It's definitely not. So this is where the common public is getting confused, and I think a lot of people are getting confused about what this group is, and it is, which is usually associated with anti um you know, Jewish people, and it's actually just the opposite. It's, you know, has some basis of coming from a Jewish foundation. I don't know. I'm trying to understand this.
This is not let's say Jewish or anti-Jewish foundation. This is about the stuff. Let's say it will be maybe the whole, or not show, but series of shows why NAZI, so let's say Third Reich, was so effective uh, in the first years of war, right? And this is what they want. And of course there is so this is the main, let's say 70 or 80% of their agenda. But if you don't want to be just a regular member, but if you want to make quotes in quotes career, you need to be ideologically NAZI pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the way that they have it set up.
Yes. But once again, we are not talking about Ukraine only. The same crap, and this is it. Azov, it's most well known because it's network in Ukraine. But the same creepy crap Russians have, and this is it. It is not like, yeah, they are in Russian-Ukrainian border, on Russian side, and maybe crashed. They crashed, or maybe they hit like tornado, uh, from Russia to Ukraine. Within, so inside Russia, they've got big problem, and believe me, big problem with those kind of groups. Because it's a huge country. It's 17 million square kilometers. It's crazy big country, and it's hard to control that kind of big, land. It's extremely hard to control, and they've got that kind of problem.
And we're finding out that the shadow group is also creating a lot of this stuff. I just want to add quickly that Adolf Hitler also has some Jewish lineage, which is totally confusing. But a lot of people, if you're not willing to look at every aspect of this, then we can't, kind of come to a conclusion or a resolve, because people keep wanting to ignore some of the basic facts.
Yes, he got some DNA lineage, like Hebrew Jewish lineage. Just by the way, I'm talking about Hitler, and we mainly need to consider fact that this is, let's say, not this. All of those things are very touchy topics, and once there are the bad people with crazy intentions, as we are talking about shadow group, right? It's like you've got open barrel filled in with fuel, any kind of, so gasoline or diesel or whatever, and you are lighting a match and try to guess what happened. Bam! All guns blazing. This is it.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe it's deliberate that they're trying to create confusion and have people fight against each other, and that is definitely a very strategic maneuver to create war, confusion, and also a mask of what they're doing.
Yes, because Yes, because from their point of view, look, it's like that. A lot, and I mean a lot, of army, any sort of army technology, equipment, weapons, you know, and any type of ammunition will be used, right? So it need to be replaced. So special machinery, what is quotes in quotes more kind word, more kind term for making war, you know, war technique, war technology, army technology, and then people will be injured. I mean, of course, not soldiers only, but people will be injured. Then, because we need to consider this. On one, in regular quotes in quotes, regular and let's say common statistics, on one either heavily injured or dead soldier, it is in between 8 and 12 injured or killed civilians. Common, unarmed, innocent civilians. It's absolutely creepy crap. It's nonsense. So this is another stuff, like, you know, let's say healthcare and everything, you know, drugs, whatever. And then infrastructure, you know, roads completely demolished, you know, electricity, you know, gas pipes, everything. And of course, houses, whatever, condos.
A reset, a whole reset.
Everything, exactly. And this is it. All of those things I recently named will be for them. So that means for Shadow Group, will be opportunities, the easiest way, opportunities to gain, to earn tremendous amounts of money. And they absolutely don't care, how much pain they will cause to people, how much, you know, life it will destroy. Because
a lot of the people were fleeing, right? They were going into Poland, yeah, and the Czech Republic and
Slovakia, of course. In Slovakia, we've got, do you know what is crazy? 40,000 small children. Most of them are you know, orphans, like war or orphans. It's absolutely crazy, and they are innocents. And I will not watch my language. I'm pissed off. I mean, what the heck is going on? It's absolute nonsense. You know, those children that didn't make anything bad. You know, it's crazy. 40,000, and look how small our border is. Look, Slovakia, and look how big is it with Poland, with Romania. You look how small is it with Slovakia. Look, and 40,000 small children. Most of them are orphans. It's absolutely crazy. It's bad. It's bad.
It's very bad, and they're doing this for this whole reset.
And they don't have nobody. They have nobody. You know, nobody. They don't have families. They don't have. It's not like they are orphans. So of course no parents, but no family. Like no, you know, aunts or whatever, uncles, nobody.
And it sounds like the money's not going to Slovakia to help.
Of course not.
Or any of these bordering countries.
Of course not. And in Brussels, they are saying that they are sending money, and I know personally members of Slovakian government, and they are saying, what the heck should we do? Should we take a loan? And from where? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like they set certain, because once you are war refugee, you have certain rights, and the country you enter as first, right? For example, we are in, Slovakia is in some sort of, a specific organization. This specific organization is, we can consider it as European Union, right? And according United Nations rights, once you will, have status of a refugee, the countries, they are members of the special, let's say, I don't know how can I say it, of those special, I don't know, clubs or whatever. I don't know how can I name it. I got it. What of those special organizations, we can call it European Union. So once they are outside, right, of European Union, first country is what? Slovakia, right? And from where we can pay them money, we gave them accommodation or whatever, and they have this right, for 1 year, and we don't have money. I mean, our country don't have money for it.
It's a big responsibility, and the money's going to the Ukraine, and the Ukraine is very likely not going to send it to the surrounding border countries that are accommodating all of the refugees. And the refugees that are staying in the Ukraine, I heard they're going into the metro, which is their train system.
Yes, this is pretty much another part of Revelation, because that was this, video game series, Metro. Last Light and Metro 2023, Metro Last Light, and I don't know. I'm not. And Metro Exodus. Yep.
That's the whole Metro franchise and video game. But it, here again, it's predicting some of the things that are happening right now.
And look. Metro 2033, right? And try to guess what? Because it's half step. It's 10 years. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
This is all planned out. Yep. They have
yes, of course it is.
Events. Yeah. Global nuclear holocaust. Yeah. I mean, it's here again. Look at this. The Neo-Nazi Fourth Reich talks about that in the Metro.
Yep.
So it's all right here. It's all. I mean, we've been talking about this stuff for a couple of years now, Peter, and people are like, "Oh yeah, you're just talking about video games and everything." If it isn't disclosing what exactly is happening, I don't know what else is.
Yes, many people are saying that we are making some sort of crazy nonsenses or whatever, and we are making it up. Hey, look, if you really believe that it is like that, then do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
See, then they mentioned they use this. This is the So the metro station, right? That
Yeah.
is located in around Moscow. I don't know. Are they connected to the Ukraine? The metro station?
Let's say they are underground tunnels, yep. But I'm just saying, what I am saying, okay, is fact. And this is it. Many people believe that it is not true. But look, the dates, I mean, in this case, years and everything, it makes perfect sense. And my question is, why the heck in the world people don't believe us? That's my question.
They're either they don't. I don't know why. I mean, I think that they are not sure, and maybe because thousands of other people aren't saying what we're saying, that we're a smaller minority providing this information. I don't know. I'm assuming that there are people that just get hung up on the way we're having discussions instead of actually listening to what we're saying. So, but anyhow, I'm not going to dwell on that. I think I do want to bring up too, Peter, that this right here is
Oh
something else
crap.
that's
This
getting
is big deal. This is
right.
big deal.
It's getting implemented also in the Ukraine while the battle's going on. They're implementing this, and also the U.S. in collaboration with MIT is creating their variation of it to cut off any type of online payment systems. And so I'm not going to name the companies, but we'll have some links for people to review. So that kind of thing's going on right now. And so this is the shadow group doing this, making it look like it's NAZI, or making it look like it's territorial regarding nations coming against each other.
Yes.
And we keep on saying this. We have, people, this, it's one of those things where we have the information. There is no tangible access to the information other than the effect of what it's having. So the shadow group is a bit of a challenge to provide more detailed information because they're hard to capture.
Definitely, yes.
But
yes, but pretty much they are not that kind of tremendous amounts of, let's say big, and I mean it, big numbers of companies, worldwide well-known companies and respected companies. They are providing fast payments, online payments, I mean, yeah. And this is it. I will say you why they are doing this, because they want to force people to use pretty much two things, okay? Two ways of payments. Either digital, and I mean every single possible currency all around the world. So we are seeing this, it's in China. I mean, let's say the original, the country of origin is from China. Also, but pretty much it's like digital US dollar, I mean American dollar, or digital, I don't know, euro or whatever, so Swiss franc or whatever, right? Or British pound. But so either this, or you can pay with crypto, but once you will pay with crypto, you will be watched 24/7 non-stop. And it is like, oh, holy crap, what the heck are you talking about, insider? It is pretty much the same stuff. We are, like surveillance cameras and whatever. But let's say you will be watched like not 10, 30, 50, or maybe 100 times more because once you will use cryptocurrency instead of quotes in quotes regular digital currency, you will be automatically considered as a criminal. It's pretty much like you will be stopped by police officer, and you will refuse to make to make alcohol test or whatever. Then yeah, okay, you can, but it will be like, hey, you are under influence, period, end of story. Do you know what I'm trying to say? In certain countries in Europe, you can refuse, but in this case, it means, okay, if you are refusing this, you have something to hide. That means, no, you drink. I mean, you are drunk, or even something more, something worse. So sorry for that. That was just a parallel. Sorry for that.
Yeah. Well, we know the torture that they want to put everyone through and lose their identity and become a number and not have any purpose here and just be slaves. So that's essentially what this is. You can read up on it. Facial recognition, data, big data analysis, artificial intelligence used, watching everything that you spend your money on. Pretty much you don't you're not allowed to exist if you don't comply with their system. This mass surveillance in China, such as Skynet. So I wasn't aware of this, but Skynet, we've talked about Skynet before.
Give me a second. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that they were from China.
Or give me a second. Or originally, but now it is like GPS, right? Or whatever. And they make it like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Just to let people know that are very hooked into Skynet, you might wonder why you're having problems. That definitely would be part of the problem there. So anyhow, that's is this going to be fully implemented, or do we have we going to be freed of some of this stuff because of the new systems coming in?
Definitely, we will definitely be avoiding. Pardon me. We will definitely be avoiding this.
Okay, and that's from the new reality coming in, and we're going to get into that soon.
Yes.
Because I just want to bring up the reference to the man in the high castle. So we're gonna talk a bit about this. I also want to mention this guy right here, Peter, who has written like the Minority Report, a lot of futuristic movies, Blade Runner, The Adjustment Bureau. All of you who are listening have heard about these movies. They're very, very interesting and intriguing. And he wrote The Man in the High Castle. Who is this man? Philip K. Dick? Philip Kindred Dick?
Let's say visitor from the future.
So he came back
yeah.
to reveal, and who is he working with? Was he working with the ACIO or just?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, hey man, you can't write everything like that. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, and why not? that was his answer to the question why you are doing like that. You know what I mean?
Is he back in the future right now, or is?
Yes. So he isn't that. He isn't that. Definitely not. Nope.
But he's in. Do you have an approximate year where he is, or?
Yes, but it's confidential.
Okay. So.
And just by the way, I'm regularly visiting him. Just by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, that would explain why you know some of the things that are happening, Peter.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
So this TV series is very interesting. It starts off with Hitler. It goes into Himmler becoming the ruler, and then a guy by the name of John Smith. Oh, there's someone else in between there. I watched the whole series. You had informed me that I was the character Juliana in this reality. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you something which is very interesting. There is also, let's see if we have a fandom page, and there is a guy by the name of Joseph. Joe, I think is it Joe Blake? No. Yep. I actually met a guy that looked just like him and dated him for a short period of time in this reality.
Let's say I am not surprised.
And I remember he came in, it was very weird. He worked in a local store and we just started seeing each other. And then just like in the show, he actually was in a relationship, but wasn't married, but was in a relationship with someone, but he didn't tell me when I met him. And it was very, very an intense relationship where he was coming around a lot. And then all of a sudden he just disappeared. He just left. And somehow he said he was living in the Midwest. But it happened so quickly, Peter. It didn't make any sense. But I knew that he was in some kind of trouble. So, yeah, I thought so. There was like an echo of from this parallel that sort of happened here. And in the series, he shows up on random occasions. I mean, I never felt threatened by him, but in the series, it shows that he kills her. In the movies, they have all of these different movies that are people find from the alternate reality, from the reality where they're in, where the Axis the Axis group ends up taking over. That's the group from the NAZIs and the Japanese. And so you have all of this playing out.
Yes, sorry for interrupting you, but yes, this is the main part of the problem. I mean, problem for us, that most of the actual how we can call it precisely, most of actual revelations are happening, you know, in or within TV shows or movies, and of course video games, and most of them are, you know, sci-fi, or even if not sci-fi, then so unbelievable, or it's, I don't know, some sort of mystery or whatever, and it's like, what in the world is going on here? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's crazy.
I remember when you and I started talking around 2016, 2017, and
2016 it was 2016.
Yeah, and just, you know, we kept on talking about some of this NAZI reality. We've been talking about it for a while. And I remember people contacting me and they'd say, "Did you watch The Man in the High Castle?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And they said, "You really need to watch it because you guys are talking about some of this, all these alternate realities." And I thought, you know, well, that's quite interesting. Philip K. Dick actually even put together a map of what it looked like and who was in charge. And so you could see this on the Wikipedia page. And here is like the open zone here. And then this is the NAZI section. This is the Japanese section. But, you know, I think France, it looks like it takes over England. I don't know. Or there's something else going on here.
It's in Africa. It's in Africa.
That's the New Roman Empire, it says.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. What's this? The Greater Asia and Co-Prosperity Sphere?
Yeah.
So is this where the shadow group is there in that reality as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, give me a second. Not in this reality. It's
in this other reality.
Let's say they've got their own reality. It's absolutely crazy. It's messy.
And in this reality of The Man in the High Castle, so you can kind of read up on the whole storyline, but it's there's still the racism that's happening, you know, and the conflict between the Jews and the NAZIs there, unlike what's happening in the Ukraine. So it's almost like a different kind of scenario. And also there is a time portal that opens up that allows them to go and travel into other realities, right, other parallels.
Yes, you are right.
And then influence those parallels. So we're seeing that our reality obviously is clearly has had others come in here. So not only the NAZI soldiers go through, but even others that are from different points of view, you know, and those that were fighting the whole system that wanted to escape or leave, they left. And Juliana's one of them. She ends up going in. Or the role that whatever is supposed to be me from this reality exists, you know, works with the Axis on both sides, and then somehow tries to escape or you know, carry these films to share with everyone, so that people can imagine another reality because they all feel somewhat oppressed. So similar to what's going on here, people are feeling somewhat oppressed. They're feeling oppressed in that reality as well. And then yet there's another reality that's coming in. That's the alternate reality that Peter has talked about, the alternate NAZI reality that Peter's talked about that has not come in yet, or that is starting to come in now.
Yes, yes.
You've been talking about it for a while, and that is a whole different scenario, and it's not oppressive, you said. So yeah. There's no racism, because Peter, you're not racist. I know that for a fact. You have rabbi friends, you have German friends, you have
Muslim friends. I've got you know, I don't know, Hispanic friends. I've got yes, yes. I've got friends, you know, from Asia, from Africa. It's, I mean, African American or whatever. No, it's. So I'm not judging by color of skin. I'm judging, you know, how people are. You know, what I hate the most, if people are slicky. So do you know what I mean? They are playing, you know, theater, playing some games with you. So slicky, tricky.
Yeah.
If they are lying. And if they are lazy, do you know what I mean? It's like being lazy. Most times for me, I said someone something to do. I ordered someone something to do, and he or she did only 1/4, and I will say why. Because he or she remember only half of it and make only half of the half, so it's 1/4, and it's like, holy crap, why? I hate that kind of people.
Right, and I think getting back to Al Bielek, that's what they were talking about, is the society where everyone contributed something.
Yep, exactly.
And so, and when you do that, you're kind of working with the group and recognizing that people are not supposed to just be alone, but be willing to want to help one another out. And it opens up in consciousness. It helps the consciousness. So this other reality would have to be a higher consciousness, because there's no racism and none of the other issues that we're seeing of you know, picking out certain groups and saying that they don't belong.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to introduce some of the symbology that you shared with me. So obviously this is something that you showed. And so here is the symbol of, this is the flag that they use. So it's different.
No, first is the flag. First is the flag they used.
This is the flag, okay.
Yes, first
And
is
it
the
looks just like
flag.
regular NAZI, right? Yeah.
Yes, but this is what they are using in their reality.
So it's a combination with the black sun.
Yes, this is what they are using in their reality.
And what is
Yes.
this?
And this is another version, and this is the version of what they are using, you know, for, let's say, army purposes.
Okay. So we're gonna, let's take a look at, I wanted to look at the black sun. And because a lot of people talk about the black sun, I know some people have whole shows on it. And let's talk about what it is.
Yeah, it will be good to talk about that.
So you have these symbols. We're talking about some of really, really old symbols. I'm just going to show you something really, really quickly. See if I have it here. Nope, I don't. I want to just bring up some of these Icelandic runes. And just to show you that this stuff has been around for many, many years. You know, these are all, they're Norse, they're Viking. You can find them all over, you know, our history. You know, this is, you know, the way that they wrote. That's their
Alphabet, if we want to.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you have a lot. What happened was, I think the Third Reich was collecting ancient runic looking things, as well as you know, then combining Christianity. So they had the Roman Catholic Church, and then they started collecting all of these other you know, old, you know, runic things. It's like I'm watching that show called The Vikings, right? And in the show The Vikings, you know, you see that there's constantly a merging of there's a merging of the different symbols, and or the different, it's a combination of the old Viking belief systems in their gods, and then you constantly have the conflict with the Christians. And yet you see them like overlapping. They start to overlap and get to know each other, become familiar with each other's culture. And, you know, then you have someone who believes in the gods, but's also been baptized, and all these things going on. And at one point there was a picture from the Viking show, and there's actually, it looks like a black swirl, but it's almost like it felt like it was like a black sun to me. And then inside it's a yellow sun.
So it's actually what we are using as quote unquote sun symbol. Yeah, you are right.
Sun symbol. The Japanese also are they've always used a sun symbol. We'll get to that.
Yes, that's another true.
And sometimes what they have, it looks like let's see if I can get some images like this.
Yes, exactly.
So getting back to the black sun now, and the significance of it and what it stands for. And you notice here again, it's going back to the runes, Sig runes. You see that?
Yeah, I know.
This is also, like I said, it's Scandinavian. It is Celtic. It is, you know, it's Viking. And then of course there's this castle, Weevelsburg Castle, that actually has a black sun image, and I will bring that back up. This is it right here on the interior. When I was in I have a recall from being in the Third Reich. I remember standing approximately here, and some of the leadership, Himmler, and some of them were over here. And I remember having a realization and seeing things about some of the negative things that happened. And they saw me and then realized that I was seeing too much.
Yes, you told me this multiple times, and they were like, oh, holy crap, she knew.
She knew,
Yeah.
and so they locked me up, and then they threw me through a time portal.
Yeah, exactly.
Bye to Sigrun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Sigrun also means daughter of Odin, and which is my connection to Odin. So here again, it's almost like a merging of both, and then other influences then creating this fearful experience for a lot of people, and also devastation to Germany itself, because the German people suffered quite a bit on the after effect. But still, we're challenged over trying to get over this symbology. And, here again, even like the swastika, we'll review the swastika, it's embedded in belief systems. So,
yes, and pretty much it's so old. Do you know what I mean?
It's ancient. It goes back to Shiva. And
Yeah.
It goes back to there's many different cultures that it covers. Like this one was a drawing in stone. I don't even know if they have this as a rune stone in Denmark. Here's the Byzantine church. This is from the Book of Silk, or maybe the Silk Road, the Han Dynasty. Prehistoric stone in Iran. I mean, it's everywhere. It goes so far back. And I know Tibet. Here's the Jain symbol. That's ancient, like around India.
Yeah, and yes, and I will explain why they use it, or let's say misuse it.
Japanese.
Because because they know, or they knew, from our point of view, neo-NAZIs, but NAZIs, they knew the symbology is powerful, very, very powerful.
So they're using the symbology, yes, but the symbology itself is not hate. It's not a hate symbol. Similar to the swastika, was not originally a hate symbol. Yep. It was a symbol of people's belief systems. And this is the challenge we have of why people are tripping over this, is because, they took something and then, turned it into, try to turn it into something else, or people interpreted it in that way, and they saw symbology stands out a lot. So you can say all sorts of things, but they're going to look at, the way you're dressed, type of uniform you're wearing, with what the symbology is related to what you're doing. And
yes, exactly.
And that is the association that is carried from there. But because of the ancient belief systems that were researched by the Third Reich, and they brought all of these different things in, and like you said, they are quite powerful. They even brought in the crystal skulls and
yes, that's one of the crazy stuff, believe me. Yeah.
So it's not surprising to me that the alternate reality, or the positive alternate reality, because with every negative there's a positive. So the positive reality that's trying to come through is still using the same symbology, and it would be very confusing for a lot of people. And here again, just alone in the Ukraine, as we had showed as an example, there's a lot of confusion about what's happening and why they're being referenced as NAZIs.
Yeah.
So it's time for us to kind of get through the symbology and then start looking at what the regime is doing in each instance, and also those that are actually influencing what's happening, like the shadow group, and then playing with the symbols and the groups.
And misuse them, confuse them, and
correct, Peter. So that, I think that's where we're at today, and we're trying to sort through it all to make it understandable so people can step back and take a look at it and say, well, what is actually happening here? And or are we being misleaded? And I don't even think the mainstream media understands it. I mean, I don't know if maybe they're given a script of what to say, but they don't quite know how to address this. All they know is they're supporting, say in the US, the mainstream media is supporting Ukraine, but they don't know why. A lot of the news is confusing, and they look confused. And as far as we know, that they're, the whole shadow group is just playing this game and completely muddying up the whole topic. But
you are right.
Yeah, it's done on purpose. So Peter, where should we go from here? I think the highlighted topics that I wanted to bring in, I think we brought them in, but I think we could possibly do more in conversation in another show if you want to bring in more.
Yes, definitely. We can turn this to the series. But from my point of view, we are good for today. So once again, I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to be on your channel, and I'm looking forward for next time. Till then, hold tight. Bye guys.
All right, and that was great that Peter was able to join us today, and thank you for your support. And also, please provide any questions. If I know this was a tricky topic to discuss, and we have been covering a lot of this information over the years. However, those that are new and they need more information, there's also people that kind of are responding and answering some of the questions as well. So thank you everyone for listening, and thank you for your support. I mean, as you know, it's been very, very intense, very busy for me. But I do acknowledge your comments and also your messages that you've been sending me. So thank you so much. Stay strong and highest intention for humanity.
You have been listening to the Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Marrocco. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Visit www.acio-agency.org and www.readingsbyarael.com. Post your questions and comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to support our work. All the links can be found in the description. Thank you.